Hello, everyone. I am back. I have 5 minutes worth of video to play. Yes, I'm sitting in my car. Looking at my fat neck. It's not a good view. I have a 5-minute video to play from a guy named Phillip Scott. I'm sure some of you know who he is. He tells people to stay home and don't vote for the Democrats. And he tells people to vote for the Republicans because Democrats didn't give you anything. And in this video, he's talking about Ice Cube, who went to some elders in the black community. What community? Because he lives in Florida. I mean, California. So in the community of California, Ice Cube went somewhere and to talk to some elders and came up with a letter. The same thing he did when Trump was president. He tried to do it when Biden was president. And Phillip says that Biden didn't meet with him. I don't know if he did or if he didn't. I don't care. But my comment was, you cannot, what the hell? You can't represent me because you don't know my issues. You can't write a letter on my behalf. I live in New Jersey. You're in California. So your issues that you're having are not the issues that I'm having. You, Ice Cube, cannot write anything about reparations for me. You can write reparations for you. But you damn sure can't write about reparations for me and any other black person or any white person who qualifies for reparation if they have a family member that's a slave. And the reason you can't do that, and if they didn't profit from, not if they have a black relative that was a slave and is their grandmother or great grandmother, white people actually qualify too. But and anybody of any other race would qualify as well. But there's no way that Ice Cube or Eddie Griffin and Phillip Scott, him. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show it because, well, it came in pretty good there. So I'm in the car and there's a glare. They can't represent us because they haven't spoken to us. So how are you writing a letter and going to see the president? See, that's why the president didn't want to meet with him. Because you don't know what the people in New Jersey want or need. You don't know what the people in Pennsylvania need or Connecticut or Texas. You don't know what those black people, since you're representing the black race. You are in California and you are rich. And Phillip is rich. I don't know how he got his money, but he got his money and he flipped it and now he's rich. And Eddie Griffin is rich. Now I know how Ice Cube and Eddie Griffin got their money. They got their money from us. So did he. From taxes. That's where they got their money from. So until you do a Zoom meeting and then let people tell you what their issues are, Ice Cube, you can't represent the black race based on the black people in your community, California or wherever the fuck you are, Arizona or wherever you live. I don't know what state you live in, but I know you don't live in the state of New Jersey. But what all three of them have in common is they are coons. Back in the day, yes, back in the day, we call a black person who make his wealth move out of the hood and don't look back, and so that they can keep what they have garnered. Now it's our nose is up here and it's those black people. See, before it was us at least with Eddie, Griffin, and Ice Cube when they first came out and they were still dirt poor and they didn't have millions in their pockets. It's us, what the white man doing to us. But now they got millions and it's those black people. That's what a coon is. Now you tap dancing to make sure that your taxes don't go up, to make sure that you don't pay your fair share of taxes. Just like the white man in quotes. There are 500 United States corporations and Fortune 500 companies together that pay zero taxes. Zero. I'm not playing. Zero taxes. And that is because conservative Republicans, conservative Democrats, and moderate Democrats have businesses. These people are rich and they have gotten in office and they made legislation to protect themselves. Wouldn't you? This is why you need progressive Democrats. Because progressive Democrats believe in every American coming out of poverty, such as myself. That's why I'm a progressive Democrat. Progressive Democrats believe that senior citizens shouldn't have to work until they die on the job. We've been working since we were in our 20s, 30s, 40s. And you want somebody to work today 70 and 80? See, that's what's coming for you younger generations. Because y'all ain't out there voting, and a lot of y'all listening to this man, Phillip, and Ice Cube, and Eddie Murphy. Once you become rich, you do not have to forget where you came from. But you damn sure shouldn't go out there and tell people that's still in the position that you were in, whether it's a white person, a Hispanic person, an immigrant that got in line and came here the right way, that's working and paying taxes. Not talk about the migrants, or a Jamaican or Haitian, a Puerto Rican, black person, Indian, any person that is poor and that is working, because we pay the bulk of the taxes. They don't take as much out of our check, but collectively, if your income is below $156,600, that's the median income in the United States. I made it. I don't have to worry about it. Well, before Trump got in office, that was, you could make it on that. But if that's not your income, you are poor now. And you want to know why you're poor? Because the price of voting in Republicans, conservative, and moderate Democrats has gone up. They made laws that say these people can do things, and then they codified it and made it permanent. All you need is enough progressive Democrats. I said in another video, there's 1,000 people, representatives in the Congress that represent our different states. We don't need 1,000. We only need enough. We only need for poor people to send another poor person to Congress so that the conservative Democrats and Republicans don't get the votes that they need. But it doesn't make sense to be a progressive Democrat and be a spoiler and not vote, with your party. That doesn't make any sense. They're cutting food stamps, welfare, TANF is being cut. And he is telling you to stay home and not vote. Ice Cube is telling you, well, they didn't respond to my letter, so I'm going to vote for the Republicans. Eddie Griffin is telling y'all, oh, don't vote for the Democrats. Why you keep voting for them? Voting for the Democrats is stupid. Democrats ain't never give you nothing. You're not voting for the Democrats. You're not. Either you are going to participate in the democracy, or you're not going to participate. If you participate, you have a right to fuss, complain, and hold people accountable that are in office. But if you do what this motherfucking coon wants you to do, and you stay home and don't vote, don't say a motherfucking word. Shut your bitch ass mouth. Because you are part of the reason why there's nothing in office right now except for Republicans, conservative Democrats, and moderate Democrats taking away your rights. Now, let you hear what this dumb motherfucker said. Because he's a dumbass motherfucker.
And you get nothing out the deal. Nothing.
It's 5 minutes.
I don't want to hear no talk about Republicans when you don't vote for them. Now, when you start voting for them at 87% and they don't do nothing for you, hey, I'm with you. Let's get the Republicans at that point because now you're voting for them. And now we have a reason to go. But then other people can tell you, well, let's say the Republicans will do that for you. Well, you see the Democrats, they never do that for you. I just don't understand y'all. I don't understand y'all at all. Why are you like that? Why? It's like you have a slave mentality. You really do. Because slaves don't expect nothing. Slaves should serve and do for others. They don't expect anyone to treat them right. They don't expect anyone to respect them. They don't expect anything. They're just put here to serve. And a lot of you are political slaves. You're political slaves. You just show up, vote for Democrat, and don't expect nothing to return. And matter of fact, you're happy with it. You're happy. Because you tell me you're happy because you don't do nothing about it. So if Ice Cube says something's going on, something's wrong, we got to figure this thing out. Yes, we have to figure this thing out. But how much more does somebody got to talk to you? How much more somebody got to keep trying to beat the drum in your head about what's going on? I have witnessed election cycle after election cycle after election cycle while me doing this, what I'm doing. Every 2 years is an election, and you're so predictable to go run your behind out there to vote for the same people that give us nothing in return. It's like you love to lose and complain on others when they come in and actually take advantage and win. You should have never let off the Democrats about the George Floyd bill. You should have never let off the Democrats about an anti-black hate crime bill. You should have never let off the Democrats about reparations. The first 2 years Biden in there, he had a Democrat Congress and Senate, and you still let them get away with trying to put it on Joe Manchin, put it on Christian Sinema. Because that filibuster, that is a rule. That's not a law. They could have done something for black folk, and they did not. And you didn't raise no hell about it. Now you're feeling the pain in the grocery store. You're feeling the pain at the gas pump. You're feeling the pain when you're trying to buy a house or anything else you're trying to get. Now you're feeling the pain. Now you're disgruntled. But the sad part is, the majority of you, election day, go run out and go vote Democrat. It's the truth. You literally programmed to vote Democrat. You're not programming a thing for yourself. All the issues in the black community that we could be shaming each other over, notice the only shame you get if you don't go out and vote Democrat, that's the shame they go at you. They don't shame you about criminality, Pookie and Ray Ray. They don't shame you. They don't shame any of these deadbeat dads, deadbeat moms in our community. Just making babies, spitting them out, getting them on government assistance, and putting those children in a horrible situation. We don't shame that. We don't shame it. If we try to shame it Oh, well, Phil, now see, I was with you until you said that. That's what happened last night on my other podcast. I mentioned something about the single parent epidemic in our community. Well, Phil, you know, I liked everything you said to that. Why you liked everything I said to then? Why? Because you don't want nobody talking about what we should be shaming in our community. It is shameful for a bunch of women and men to make children and not take care of them. It is shameful that you didn't get married first, then have your children and raise those children together. Yes, that should be looked at as shameful. Period. From the men and the women. Our children are suffering, not having a proper family structure, but we don't supposed to say nothing about that. You cool with me talking about white supremacy all day, but the moment I talk about this community and what we're doing, then that's a problem. That's another reason why we got so much degeneracy in the black community. Because we do not want no one, I don't care within even the community, to speak on this degenerate behavior that we're engaging in as a community. Then you wonder why we're not getting nowhere. You're voting Democrat, then you don't know to check you on wrong behavior. But the only time we can shame somebody is they don't go out and vote Democrat.
Okay, that was 5 minutes. And this is a Republican telling his listeners not to vote or to vote for the Republican. That's 1,434 people that made comments that is listening to this buffoon.
And you get nothing out the deal. Nothing. I don't want to hear no talk about Republicans when you don't vote for them. Now, when you start voting for them at 87% and they don't do nothing for you, hey, I'm with you. Let's get the Republicans at that point, because now you're voting for them. And now we have a reason to go. But then other people can tell you, well, let's say Republicans.
This is to convince you to vote for Republicans.
I just don't understand y'all. I don't understand y'all at all.
You never will, because you're not a black man.
Why are you like that? Why?
This is coons.
It's like you have a slave mentality. You really do. Because slaves don't expect nothing. Slaves to serve and do for others. They don't expect anyone to treat them right. They don't expect anyone to respect them. They don't expect anything. They're just put here to serve. What gets me is when people like him talk about what the slaves think and what the slaves want and how the slaves are, when ain't none of us been a goddamn slave. And a lot of you are political slaves. You're political slaves. You just show up, vote for Democrat, and don't expect nothing in return. And matter of fact, you're happy with it. You're happy. Because you tell me you're happy because you don't do nothing about it. So if Ice Cube say something's going on, something's wrong, we got to figure this thing out. Yes, we have to figure this thing out. Because Ice Cube said it. How much more does somebody got to talk to you? Just because Ice Cube said it. Somebody got to keep trying to beat the drum in your head about what's going on. I have witnessed election cycle after election cycle after election cycle while me doing this, what I'm doing. Every 2 years there's an election, and you're so predictable to go run your behind out there to vote for the same people that give us nothing in return. It's like you love to lose. I'm still waiting for him to answer what the Republicans have given us. And Donald Trump. I'm still waiting for his answer that I wrote to him. He didn't write me back yet. And complain on others when they come in and actually take advantage and win. You should have never let off the Democrats about the George Floyd bill. You should have never let off the Democrats about an anti-black hate crime bill. You should have never let off the Democrats about reparations. The first 2 years Biden in there, he had a Democrat Congress and Senate, and you still let them get away with trying to put it on Joe Manchin, put it on Christian Sinema. There wasn't enough votes
for reparations, whether Biden's the president or not, even before the House change. See, this is the type of thing that he says because the people that he's talking to, they don't watch the news. So it didn't matter that the House and the Senate had and the presidency was all Democrat. There's a difference between a progressive Democrat and a conservative or moderate Democrat. Conservative and moderate Democrats are Republicans. They're only Democrat in name. There was not enough progressive Democrats. Why? Because last year when people could have been voting, this motherfucker was telling people to stay home. But he won't take no accountability for that. Him, Eddie Griffin, Ice Cube, they told y'all to stay home. And because of their celebrity status, you motherfuckers listen to them. You happy now? I can't wait for your motherfucking bank accounts to be drained dry. Listening to a coon like this motherfucker. It's almost over.
Because that filibuster, that is a rule. It's not a law. They could have done something for black folk, and they did not. And you didn't raise no hell
They did not because they did not have the votes.
Now because you're feeling the pain in the grocery store. You're feeling the pain at the gas pump. You're feeling the pain when you're trying to buy a house or anything else you're trying to get. Now you're feeling the pain. Now you're disgruntled. But the sad part is, the majority of you, election day, go run out and go vote Democrat.
No, they're going to stay home because you told them to.
It's
and
the
Eddie.
Truth.
They staying home.
You're literally programmed to vote Democrat. You're not programmed to think for yourself. All the issues in the black community that we could be shaming each other over, notice the only shame you get if you don't go out and vote Democrat, that's the shame they go at you. They don't shame you about criminality, Pookie and Ray Ray. They don't shame you. They don't shame any of these deadbeat dads, deadbeat moms in our community. Just making babies, spitting them out, getting them on government assistance, and putting those children in a horrible situation. We don't shame that. We don't shame it. If we try to shame it, oh, well, Phil, now see, I was with you until you said that.
All right, that's just repeating what he said before. So the filibuster, you need 60 votes. And they didn't, the progressives and the Democrats didn't have 60 votes. So, no, we're not going to get reparations until you people stop staying home. Until you people stop listening to him. Either you are part of the democracy or you are not part of this democracy. Know what the white people did? And the Hispanics? They got together and they did an insurrection. And now they're being sentenced to 20 years up to 40. 15 years to 20 years to 40 years in prison, where they belong. Because this is a democracy. If you want to participate, you got one vote. You don't have the right to go up to the Capitol and try to kill people and hang the vice president because you don't like them and you don't like their policies. You vote. You vote together with other people like me. Get all of us together, and then we vote them out. That's how you do it. You don't shoot motherfuckers. You don't go to judges' houses and kill them. Judges can be gotten rid of if you have progressive Democrats in there to write and pass the laws. See, once you have enough of progressive Democrats in there, but keep listening to Phillip Scott, because I read down about 10 of the responses, and they 100% exactly, I'm staying home. Every now and then you got one that said, if you don't vote, then the Republicans are going to win. So how is that helping you? He don't want you. See, he's not telling you to go out and vote Republican. What he's doing is convincing you to stay home. And you all are listening to him like a bunch of fucking jackals. And then you come on his show and let him sit and talk while he goes and get his back money that he getting from the Republicans from having a podcast. Why do you even have a podcast if you're telling people not to participate in the democracy? Because that's what he's doing. Babies, mamas, and criminalistic behavior, and whatever he called black men. Uh, are we deadbeats because we're not married? I'm not married. Nothing. I've been asked. Men asked me. 17 different men asked me to marry them, and I only said yes to 2. Of course, they're both dead now. Rest their souls. But I still raise my kids by myself. So me and everybody else in the world that didn't get married to somebody, because see, he got married for business purposes. Phil, yeah, he didn't marry his wife because he loves her. He got married for the tax write-off, and then they had kids for the tax write-off. People do that. People do that. But you mean to tell me, because Ice Cube's the same way, and Eddie Griffin is the same way. They all got married. They had their kids. They get the tax benefit. You mean to tell me that the single people, the single mothers, the single men, the single fathers, the single grandparents, because we didn't get married, we should be shamed? By who? The fuck gonna shame me?
That's what happened last night of all the party.
This motherfucker here? He gonna shame me? Who? Ice Cube gonna shame me? Eddie Griffin gonna shame me? Who gonna shame me? Because I decided not to get married. See, he liked to hear the sound of his own goddamn voice. And a couple of people in there, not a couple, the few people in there, the 1,400, whatever it was, if 500 of those people listen to him and stays home, that's exactly how the Republicans are getting into office. And he had about 1,400 something people listening to him. And that was back then, because this is from last week. I just haven't been feeling well enough to be up and about. Shamed. Then he talked about the filibuster, which needs 60 people. So it did not matter if every single solitary Democrat showed up. It's a filibuster because you have to have some Republicans in order to. But he's so goddamn smart and learned, you would think he would know that. Or is he being deceptive to the people listening to him? Because I know they don't know. I could tell by their responses they don't know. Just like when I was watching Eddie Griffin, rapist ass enabler. When I was watching him, he had the audacity to try to tell people that you don't make enough money. You don't even make $3,000. So why should you get back $3,000 per child? Motherfucker. He doesn't even know where the money comes from for the tax child credit. It's from collective, all of the taxes being collected together that they collect for us. They allocate a certain portion to give us back once a year. And all Joe Biden was doing was, instead of waiting and filing that paperwork with your taxes at the end of the year and getting a lump sum, what Joe Biden was doing was giving everybody, he took the 1,500 or the 3,000 and he broke it down. And so for 6 months, you get your $200 from January to June. And then when you file your taxes, you get the lump sum, the other, whatever it was, 1,500. He didn't even understand that. And these people, y'all listening to him. One person wrote me back. I don't know the name. And I wrote something about Eddie Griffin, and he said, he or she, whoever it was, said to me, when Trump was in office, I had $10,000 in my savings, and now I'm down to 3. I can't wait till you go through the 3,000 and live check to check just like the rest of us. Because you had no business voting for Trump. You had no business staying home and not voting. You had no business putting in conservative Democrats, and you had no business voting for MAGA Republicans. Yeah. It's like I say it, I go away, and then I come back and do exactly what the fuck I said happens. I can't wait. Just like that lady, that Republican that wanted an abortion, the baby died in her, and they wouldn't take the baby out of her. Not one doctor in Texas. Because your Republican ass went out there and voted for Republicans. Feel bad that the baby suffered. But you, bitch, I don't give a fuck about you. You put that in your state of Texas. You put that governor in. You, and down in Florida the same way. I swear to God, I hope DeSantis wins. Because he's going to take away freedoms of everybody that got color in their skin. If your complexion is the color of my yellow teeth, he's going to take that away from you. Anybody that's not pink like a pig, DeSantis gonna fix all y'all asses. It's unfortunate that he's so low in the polling, but he's at 26 and everybody else is way down. They can't catch up. Donald Trump is at 56, but 9 times out of 10, Donald Trump going to be convicted and off to prison before next year. So I'm not even worried about Donald Trump being in the White House again, because he's going to be in prison. By default, that leaves DeSantis, sanctimonious, as Trump calls it. All right, I got to go cut this video. It's already 31 minutes. But we're not going to listen to coons. At least I'm not. I'm not going to listen to coons. That's Eddie Griffin, Ice Cube, I forget his real name, and Phillip Scott. I hope that you guys don't. I can only make suggestions. Decision is yours. But $10,000 in savings. Now you're down to 3. Gas, canned goods, paper products, all of that would come down if you put in progressive Democrats, because what they'll do is change the law because they'll have the votes so that they can't charge that much. You didn't know that, did you? Yeah. The prices of food is regulated. So when you don't have progressive Democrats sitting on those committees before the bill goes to the floor, the House to get passed into law, and then gets reviewed by the Senate, and then they make their tweaks to it, and then it goes back to the House of Representatives, because that's how it works. Yeah, it's very simple. And like I said about the Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, the 3%ers, oops, they had so many people backing and following them, they didn't need to go and do what they did. All they had to do is convince those people to vote in their state for the person that they wanted. And they could have accomplished the same goddamn thing that they did by running up there and being violent, a bunch of white niggers. You think you going to take guns and take over the goddamn country? And another misnomer is that these people were doing this because of Trump. These motherfuckers been at this for 10 and 20 years. Trump wasn't in office or in politics back then. They're doing it because they're tired of the Republicans, they're tired of the conservative Democrats, and they're tired of the moderate Democrats. There is no other party. Either you are a Republican or a Democrat, or you are non-affiliated. If you're an independent, then you are independent, and you used to be a Democrat, you're still a Democrat. You just don't want to associate with being Democrat. If you were a Republican and now you're independent, you're still a Republican. You don't want to be associated with being a Republican. There's only two parties. There's something called Joe Lieberman got something called no label. But all those people that now no labels are independents who got together and said, let's form a third party between us. But there's not enough of them to do that. All right, I'm going to go. Y'all have a good day.